Eric, thank you for joining me. This is an exciting time where the first time the public gets to vote on the TAD Board of Directors. You are one of the candidates that have bravely raised your hand and said, "Count me in. I want to be counted here." And you're asking for votes. But before anybody gets a chance to vote on you or for you, uh, people want to know who they are voting for. And so I wanted to give you an opportunity to just share a little bit about yourself and let the voters know who Eric Morris is. And so could you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm Eric Morris. I currently serve on City Council in Haltom City. During my time on council, I brought a lot of results for the citizens of Haltom City. The big one being the H Mart grocery store and shopping center that's coming in, that's under construction right now. I'm a pretty well known community leader and volunteer in my community and throughout Tarrant County. And I'm running to be one of the top taxpayer advocates on the TAD board.
How about that? Very good. What motivated you to run for this position?
So, right now I'm, kind of house hunting, looking around. So I've kind of figured that given that Haltom City is a small city, not much to work with, I probably wasn't going to live there for much longer. When last year, when the legislature passed the property tax relief bill and included these new positions, I was hearing from a variety of folks that they were worried that there wasn't going to be um, anyone who's experienced or has the willingness to serve on this position. So I kind of figured, if who's going to do it? I'd probably be the best person to do it. Someone who actually has the governing and political experience to serve on the TAD board.
How about that? Very good. Well, I appreciate you running. Whether we agree on every point or not, it doesn't matter. I think anybody who's willing to raise their hand and run for an office is something that stands to serve us and serve our community better. So, when you get elected, if you should get elected, what would you hope to accomplish while you're on the TAD board?
The most important thing is to turn the TAD board into like more of a taxpayer advocacy group. I think that's going to be the big difference that you're going to notice now with these elected members on the board is there's going to be more of an emphasis on being a taxpayer advocate. So that alone is going to kind of shift the culture at TAD, I think. The second thing I really would like to achieve is switching the appraisal district from a yearly appraisal system to every 3 years. The goal is to provide some relief to Tarrant County homeowners so they're not constantly getting that shock in the mail every year, and also to provide some stability because we have kind of a crazy housing market going on right now, so we do need some of that stability. The third thing I would like to achieve is limiting, adopting a board policy that will put further limits on appraisals. So current state law says that the appraisal district can increase your appraisal by no more than 10% per year. My goal is to adopt a policy or otherwise advocate for a limit of 5% per year.
How about that? Very good. Is there anything that the appraisal district is doing right now that you would like to see changed? And this could be something that they're currently doing that you want them to stop, or maybe something that they're not doing yet that you'd like to see them start doing.
The number one thing, the number one complaint I hear from voters I'm talking to, a lot of people who, get that shock in the mail and they're wanting to protest, they're not familiar with it at all. The number one complaint I hear from folks is when they call the appraisal district for information. I've consistently heard that the people they talk to don't really help them out. They just say, "Oh, well, we can't get involved in this. You have to get a lawyer or a tax consultant. We can't help you with that." I think the number one biggest thing is changing that culture amongst the staff, shifting the culture and making it where TAD also serves as a accurate source of information when it comes to these issues. So when you have a problem and you need help, instead of calling and getting, just a generic response or sorry, can't help you, you'll at least get like an accurate source of information, some advocates within the organization.
Gotcha. Very good. Now, this is thinking in a little bit of a different way. Instead of something you might want to change, can you think of anything that you feel like the appraisal district does really well that you want to see more of?
I would say some of the leadership changes, that's a really good sign. I've heard positive things so far about that. And I would also say from the voters, just the voters getting more involved and more engaged, that's a really, really big positive. But mostly just some of the leadership changes and the shifts that we're seeing right now is the biggest positive we're getting out of the appraisal district right now.
Gotcha. Sounds good. Now, you've already touched on this some, and this might just be a repeat of an answer you've already given, but the unique position that you have is being an advocate for the taxpayer. All the other board members represent taxing entities. They weren't elected by the general public. You're going to be elected by the general public. And so, um, I want to know what you plan to do specifically to advocate for them that another board member might not do.
Well, during my time on council, as an elected official on city council, I've had, a track record of providing excellent constituent services to voters in Haltom City when they had a complaint or a concern. I've done the best to address their concerns, and the overwhelming majority of the time, we generally come out with a positive resolution for the voter. I intend to do the same thing with the appraisal district. I think just by its very nature, being an elected position, I mean, just the whole dynamic is going to be different. When you're dealing with someone who's appointed or a bureaucrat, the way they view things is inherently different from someone who's elected. They have to look at things through the lens of a voter. How is the voter going to interpret this? How are they going to see this? Are they going to understand what it is that I'm doing? It's a completely different way of approaching issues. So I think these new elected positions, you're going to expect, you can expect members who are going to approach issues with the appraisal district in a completely different manner. They're going to view things in a different way than you might see with the other board members who are appointed.
Gotcha. Very good. Now, this is a video that I'm going to share with taxpayers directly, so they get to hear directly from you about what you're going to do. All of the answers you've given so far, and we're going to wrap up the interview here. But is there anything else that you'd like to share directly with the voters on why they should vote for you, or anything else about who you are that you want to communicate directly to them?
The number one thing I think I have to provide is, first of all, experience. I have the experience on council, the governing political experience. I know how to navigate the bureaucracy. I've done that in City Hall in Haltom City, and it's not that much different with the appraisal district. There's a similar bureaucracy there. My number one thing by far, above all else, above any policy decision, is first and foremost, I'm going to be a taxpayer advocate. That's my number one priority above all else. So voting for me, you're getting a taxpayer advocate. That is what you are voting for. That's going to be my top priority. So I'd greatly appreciate everybody's vote. Just for more information, check out electericmorris.com, and there's more information about me and my supporters and what I'm all about.
Terrific. And just one more time, repeat that website address.
Yeah, the website is electericmorris.com. It's got more information about me and my history, some of the people who are supporting me, my endorsements. I've got a wide variety of leaders throughout Tarrant County who are supporting me, and also more information about some of my policy stances.
Terrific. Well, I appreciate the time that you're making to come sit down and talk and share with the voters what your plan is and a little bit about who you are. And I wish you the best of luck in your election.
Thank you, Chandler.